Welcome back, everybody. Today we're gonna talk about a book I just read, and it's called Gilgamesh. I've heard about it before. I've been lucky enough to to get what you might call in the trade an ARC, an ancient reading copy. It's has a lot of advantages to actually talk about as a as a reviewer because its author is not only dead, which helps, but he's also anonymous, so we don't even know who that person was. There's no knowledge whatsoever that may impede us in our criticism that will then obviously not be gainsaid by the author. And I have a lot of criticism because this, although it's called an epic, is so far from being epic fantasy. I'm really disappointed with that. This is going to be like a spoiler-free discussion of it. There'll be a full spoiler one uploaded later where I go into details more. So let's do this. Cheers. So first of all, let's look at the important bits here and how they work out or not work out, because oh god, there is so much wrong with this book. First, let's look at the prose. The author is not good at prose. It's repetitive to the maximum. It's terrible with that. It repeats phrases again and again. The structure doesn't work out. Sometimes we see something happening, and then there's a dream that prophesied what is happening, but the dream comes after that. So the question there would be, does that guy actually have an editor? The answer obviously is probably not. So that's a big problem. Like in general, his prose is often repetitive and flat. Let's look at the characters, and the characters are problematic as well. See, the characters in this story are archetypes. They're archetypal. They're super flat. There's no depth to them. They're not barely realized. There's just stand-ins for archetypes basically, and it feels, you know, not realized. It doesn't give any depth to it. They're clear-cut, good or evil in a way. Well, not really evil in a way, but you know what I mean. And that's the next big problem I have with this book. It's just not up to standards of modern writing, and that's a problem. The next thing that I find problems with is the rampant sexism in this story. There's very few female characters, and they are badly realized. Actually, the way they are treated is disgusting. It's problematic. Like, the only like female characters are either mothers or religious sex workers, as you might say. Although the translation I read, like the original, says temple harlot, and that's a problem, right? Anyway, we have this problem there. So the female characters are barely realized and fulfill traditional gender roles, which is a problem. They don't subvert any tropes in there. In general, like, tropes are rarely subverted. The next thing is that, like, all problems are solved by violence within this story. It's the only way Gilgamesh knows to solve any problem is through violence, through excessive violence, and that you know, that's another problem. Then him and his main buddy, and that's the other thing, is like, it's a male friendship at the center of this story. They just really destroy the environment, which I feel is highly offensive in today's climate. Right? They go and kill the guardian of the forest, then chop down the forest. Once the goddess Ishtar is trying to put them in their place for, like, their rampant sexism and misogyny, they go and kill another, like, farm animal of all things, right? That's the level of violence against the environment in this story is highly offensive to me and feels really out of place. I mean, it's, yeah, It's problematic to say the least, and I feel offended by it. What else do we have? It's, I would say it's grimdark, because the world it portrays is dark. There's no real happy endings anywhere. There is a certain level of cynicism there, and there's a lot of blood and gore. Like, in one scene that I feel I can, mention here without spoiling too much, a woman is hit in the face by the severed hindquarters of a bull, just out of spite. So it's gory, it's sexist, and it really is about destruction of the environment. Our heroes don't achieve their goals. They end up where they started. There's a lot of cynicism going on. It tries to be grimdark epic fantasy, but it fails on every single level. But luckily, the author is dead and anonymous, and cannot actually gainsay me with this criticism, which makes me feel rather comfortable with it. Anyway, that's my opinion on the so-called Epic of Gilgamesh. I'll have more details in the full spoiler discussion that will go up later. If you enjoyed this, if you have an opinion on the Epic of Gilgamesh, please go and put it in the comments, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you really soon. Until then, cheers.